afternoon. Good afternoon, Bishopville. Mayor, Senators, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much for bringing this wonderful gathering together. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I want to make sure. Can you hear me? My name is James Capers Jr. I'm the last child of James and Verly Capers, who were born here in Bishopville. I'm glad to be home. And thank you so much for inviting me and my family. They travel a lot of distance to be here to join me on this momentous occasion. As we were coming in town, I saw this great sign that said, "Welcome home, Major Capers." I was floored. It was a wonderful testament to the heart of this great city. It wasn't always this way. We didn't always have a group this way. But we're here today. We're going to move forward. This is who we are. I look around this room and I sort of wondered, was this possible back in the years that I was in the cotton fields and trying to pick cotton, wasn't very good at it. Trying to figure out what tobacco was, how you manage those leaves, tobacco leaves. But that was a long time ago. But that was a time that I really enjoyed, because as a child, what you see there is what you retain. I love the strawberries and the fruit and shucking the corn. You don't know anything about that, I know. Those are things that made Bishopville so important to me. It's been a long time. And no matter where I've gone in my years, my thoughts have always come home to Bishopville. You never went away from my presence. And there were times when I wondered if I would ever see this soil again. But my dream come true. I've always dreamed of when I retired, I'd buy me a farm and plant some cantaloupes. But nothing grew. I wasn't very good at it. My wife would say, you gotta go out and water this stuff. You can't just sit there. But I had my farm in my backyard, and nothing grew. What the squirrels didn't eat, the rabbits ate. And the deer had come along, they ate the rest. And the birds got their share. That was the Capers farm. Another time. But how did I get there? I got there through Bishopville. This is what I remember. The stories that my father told me. The stories that my aunts and uncles told me. The wonderful memories that I had. And when my family moved on to Baltimore, where I received my education, and then on to the Marine Corps, I was pretty happy. I was lucky. I married my high school sweetheart. We went to the prom together. We married young, had a child. Our child was born without sight, but he was a wonderful child. He could play the piano, the flute, the harmonica, the organ. God had given him gifts that replaced his sight. But along the way, I lost my child. And right after that, I lost the wife I had for 50 years. We were married, a wonderful life. So I come here without my wife and my son. I know she would have been proud to stand beside me. She was born in Barnesville, South Carolina. So we have a connection there. But it's so good to be on Bishopville soil and see the goodness and the warmth of this community. We need to do this more often, not when Jim Capers comes to town. I think that we have some things we need to accomplish. I see you, a wonderful mayor, and good to see you, sir. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your words. And this is my city council will come all this way. See you. Thank you all for coming. I see you sitting over there. This is Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day. That's why we're here. Because we're going to honor and will honor the veterans who've given their lives for this great country. Freedom is not free. It cost. During this war in Vietnam, we lost 55,000 young Americans. When I said 55,000 young Americans who went 12,000 miles to save another country who probably didn't appreciate it, but we were there anyway, because America keeps its word. We said we would go, and we went. 17, 18-year-old kids. They didn't get a chance to see the Super Bowl. They didn't get a chance to marry young and have a family. They sailed across the ocean and fought in battles that's too brutal for us to even discuss here today. And we were part of those battles. I can't say that I was proud of that, but there we were. And I'd like to say beside me for many of those battles was my good friend, Sergeant Yerman. Sergeant Yerman fought with me many times, day and night. We were wounded together. We come home together, and for 55 years, we've been friends. And all those years, we never had much peace, because young men, and some not so young, went in distant places to ensure that there was peace in the world if we could manage it. Right now, I know we have problems in this country. We can fix that. We can fix that. Greatest country in the history of the world. I've been in good places around the world, and much of what I've seen was dark, wasn't much light. But when the Marines came, we brought light. When the Army came, we brought light. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And you're going to have to stop talking, son, when I'm talking. All right? This is home for me, and I'm known for discipline. All right. And I'd like to make sure you know my granddaughter who's here today. Drove 8 hours. Drove 8 hours to be here. I see some Raiders are here. Thank you for coming, sir. Appreciate it. You know, I've heard a lot of things said here today by my distinguished board up here. I'm grateful for all the awards you've given to me. Can't say it's all been deserved, but I'll try to find a place to put it. I have a home that my wife and I built many years ago. And my other son here planted a rose garden last week. Because my wife loved roses. And without any prodding, my godson here made it happen. He and Ronnie here put all this together. We talked many times to make sure everything was done properly. Thank you for the roses. I know my wife is up there saying, don't talk too long. My wife and my child is buried together up at Arlington National Cemetery, which is where I'll go when my number's up. There were many years it looked like my number was up. I fought in different places around the world. I'm not proud of all of that, but I'm proud of what we represented. And I want to tell you, this is Memorial Day, I want to tell you about a young man that I didn't know. But you've all probably heard of the Battle of Quezon. This is a fairly vicious battle, I'll say. And many men were injured, wounded. And you could hear the cry out for the corpsman. Corpsman up, corpsman up. And through a hail of gunfire, that corpsman rises. Yes, he rises. And he runs to that wounded Marine or soldier. And he falls on his knees and gives this soldier or Marine what he needs to live, to survive, to go home to his mother and father. A corpsman. We have one here today. Thanks, Doc. After a fairly good mortar attack, we had some men, this is in the Battle of Quezon, and I thought, well, I knew the enemy was going to be coming again. When they're hopped up on morphine, they would come in and blow themselves up to blow a way through the barbed wire. Now, I didn't see a lot of that because the grunts, infantry, appreciate those guys, were handling a lot of that. But there were times when we needed the corpsman, and I just happened to be commissioned at that time and sent to Quezon. I'd been a staff sergeant, and most of the officers in my unit were killed. Young guys, bright guys. Now they were gone, and my colonel called me in and said, sign here. Sign here. He said, you are now an officer and a gentleman. Right on the spot. I didn't go to OCS. I didn't go to the basic school where you learn to be an officer. Right now, right here, right now, you're an officer. Go out and take command. When do I go to OCS? Well, it didn't happen because I got shot and spent a year in the hospital. So I never went to OCS, and I see these wonderful young officers and enlisted men from the command, the Raiders. I'm envious. I don't know where the officers, where OCS is. I've never been there. Never been there. But my colonel pronounced me an officer and a gentleman. One thing that may relate to what we're doing, when I became an officer, I said, okay, I'm going to go to the officers club. Wow. So I went on down to the officers club, went over to the bar. Bartender says, hey, Lieutenant, can I give you a drink? Okay. It was raining outside, muddy. And I stood there at the bar, and in walks this pretty large guy. And he heads right for me. I'm the only black person in the bar. And he heads right for me, and I figured, oh no, here we go. As he walked across the little club there, I'm thinking now, what is he going to say? He walked over to me, stood there, and shook my hand and said, welcome to the Officers Club. In my mind, I thought he's going to think, you're black, you shouldn't be here. But that's not what he was thinking. Sometimes we get it wrong. We get it wrong. I got it wrong. And I was sorry for that. Because all these things I taught my troops, I'm now thinking the wrong thing. This Marine came over to me and shook my hand and welcomed me as an officer. But in my mind, I was thinking, oh boy. But sometimes we as a people, we have to give each other a chance. We have to give each other a chance. I don't know if God put a color on Adam and Eve. Do you know, Reverend?
I don't know.
You don't know. Everybody here know? All right. All right. So sometimes we as a people, we can do exactly what we're doing here. Shake each other's hand, get together. I come a long ways to say this. Never thought I'd get a chance to say these words. When Sergeant Yerman was putting me on a helicopter in the Battle of Fulop, and all my men were wounded, my war dog lay dead at my feet, you think, will I make it out of this one? Will I ever get home again? Will I ever see my child again? Will I ever see my wife again? And she was a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. She threw me out a couple times. But for 50 years, she tolerated me and tolerated me going to war, coming home, getting patched up, and saying, you may have to go again. But that's okay, but that's what this country's about. And that's what Bishopville is about. I'm so proud of you. I talk about you all the time. When you overseas, people would say, well, where are you from? I'm from Bishopville. They say, where? Where is that, And, no, it's Bishopville, South Carolina. A place that I have many memories of. And I'm so glad to be home. And I wish Dottie was sitting here. I wish the young corpsman that I was talking about, when we thought the enemy was coming again, I know Sergeant Yerman was doing what he needed to do, and I went and got the corpsman. Nobody had called for the corpsman, but I went and got him, and I said, Doc, I'm probably going to need you this time. He said, yes, sir. And the corpsman came with me. And I said, okay, it's about time. And the corpsman said to me, I don't even know his name right now. He said to me, Lieutenant, I'm a little tired. Can I sit down for a moment? I'm a little tired now. I said, yeah, Doc. Sit down. I'll call you when we need you. The corpsman, which I didn't know, passing through, sat down near my feet and died there. He didn't complain. He didn't say, I'm tired. He didn't say, send me home. He bled out. He'd been wounded. These are things that I remember. I wish I had known. Today I can't recall his name. But that's a young American who gave everything he had for this country. And he didn't complain. Just says, I'm just a little tired. Let me rest for a moment. Sometimes we all get a little tired. But he gave his life so that we can sit here on this great 100-degree day. It's a little warm. But those are the things that I saw, the things that I spent years trying to forget. We have something called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Many of our young Marines, soldiers and sailors have come back with PTSD. They come back because this young man has grown up in some city. He's gone to high school now. Recruiters come in and say, would you like to join the Marines? Would you like to join the Army? And he says, yes, I'll defend this country. That's a young Johnny. Johnny this, Johnny that. So Johnny joins and Johnny goes to war. Johnny kills people, his friends are killed. His high school buddies that went with him are killed. So Johnny comes home now. Here comes Johnny. My country. But yet the country doesn't seem to want Johnny now. They don't seem to want Johnny now. Johnny's come home, and it's our responsibility to take care of Johnny. Johnny comes marching home. Who's going to pay Johnny? Who's going to make sure he gets his medication? The country has turned its back on Johnny. He can't get an appointment at the VA. Everyone is too busy now to take care of young Johnny. So Johnny is depressed now. He marries quickly, and his wife cannot understand him because he sits in the darkness and cries about the men he lost in battle. So Johnny has lost everything. So he goes to some God-forsaken place. And he sits down and he thinks about it. He has no money. No one seems to love him now or care about him. So he picks up this service weapon and he kills himself. He's gone, bam. He shoots himself. But yet, the city seems to move on. Nobody's cared that Johnny has committed suicide. We have 22 servicemen a day commit suicide. And Johnny's gone to war, but it's our responsibility to take care of Johnny. We have to feed him. We have to take care of his children. But somehow, we've turned our back on Johnny. We need to do better for Johnny and all the Johnnies. I see here an eclectic group, many hats that says Vietnam, other things, and we're grateful for that. We're going to do better. We're going to take care of our servicemen and women. I'm so glad to see so many women here because you are the heart of our service. You are the ones that take care of the families when we're gone. My wife was a carpenter or a plumber. She learned to do everything when I was gone. She could take $20 and work magic with it. They don't pay you a lot of money in the military now. But at any rate, I am so glad to be home. Thank you all for coming. All of my friends who come a long ways to be here. And my young colonel here challenged me to a swimming contest.
Look at that, sir.
Just because in a few months I'm going to be 82 years old. Now you're not supposed to say wow.
Oh, you?
I thought you said, well, you don't look like you. It's all right. I'm home. That's okay. I can take it. I'm from Bishop. But thank you again, Your Honors, sir. Thank you all for coming, for your wonderful gifts. Thank you, sir, for coming from Jacksonville. Ron, thank you for helping me survive to be here today. And you know, Gina, what can I say? You got that bright smile. She came all the way from New Orleans with her and Wayne. I think they've been friends for so many years.
We love you.
Thank you so much. And I'm not sure if I can say the things that my young colonel over here said. He's a wonderful young man. I'm glad that he, wonderful young man that brought me here, and for the town that brought me here. And my chaplain is here. My chaplain is here. There's 5 children. And he's standing there. Thank you, sir, for coming. With 5 children he brought here to see this event. And I hope that the young people who are here will let his cell phone ring over there. I saw you. This is good for our young people to see how we can love each other, be patient. I left here almost 75 years ago. Maybe a little longer than that. But I'm home now, and that's what counts. And bring this town together. You can do better. We can all do better. So I'm challenged.